Hello everyone, back tuning into today's first video. We're doing the September month-end forecast for today's first video. So we're going to have a review of what happened in August and how the August forecast went. And at the end of the video, we'll have a sneak peek at October. And then, of course, we'll do the September forecast as well. It's going to be a busy day at Gas Service today because after this video, we've got the ECNF 30-day look at, which is kind of like a September forecast as well. And then we'll have a week 10-day video update coming up later on this afternoon. Probably be quite late today. That will be coming up this afternoon on the homepage. It will, of course, include all of regular features. Right, so at the climate averages page at the UK Met Office, this is how the mean temperature anomaly for August 2019 looks. Generally above average through most parts of the country. Not a very warm month, but certainly most places a bit above average by around 1 degree above average or so. So it was away from the south coast anyway, it was close to average. In some parts of central Scotland where it's close to average was generally rather warmer than average month. Precipitation-wise, big north-south divide actually this month. So we see that Scotland, Northern Ireland came out with a very wet month actually. Some places going up to 200% of average rainfall across Scotland and down into the far north England, also across Northern Ireland. But in the far southeast corner, it's actually a little bit drier than average. Some parts of East Anglia, southeast England, having around 75 to 50% of their average. So it was drier than average in the far southeast. It was wetter than average up in the north. Near normal, I suppose, through most central parts of the country, meant a bit above average across Wales and southwestern parts of England. Now, the Galsworthy's August forecast predicted a slightly warmer than average month, so that side of the forecast went okay. We said that rainfall would probably come out around average, so it's perhaps a little bit more unsettled than we expected, especially for northern parts of the country. I think the average rainfall was probably okay for England and Wales, but certainly for Scotland and Northern Ireland it was a rather wet month. So it was a north-south split type month, wettest in the north, driest in the south, generally above average temperatures. I think the Galsworthy's August forecast went okay. It wasn't too bad. We certainly got the right side of things with temperatures. And we did get one final burst of really quite hot temperatures in the final week of the month, which again, we anticipated and we expected. So I think overall the August forecast was okay. And as far as the summer forecast is concerned, of course, now we've got August data, and I think very shortly we will have the data in for the full summer of 2019 if we don't already. And we'll be able to evaluate the Galsworthy's summer forecast very, very shortly later this week, I would have thought. Right, so that's that done. Let's have a look at September then. This is how the CFSV2 700 millibar height anomaly is looking for September. Overall, it's looking rather changeable, I have to say. It has above average heights out to the west of us, in the middle of the Atlantic, below average heights to the north-northeast of us. And that leaves us bring in this sort of west-northwesterly type flow. It's difficult to say how unsettled this would be because we are actually blocking off the Atlantic to some degree. So it's not like we've opened the doors to the westerlies and just continuous areas of low pressure. We do have this ridge to the west of us, but the jet stream here will be coming around the top of this ridge and then doing something a bit like that. So, although the Atlantic is blocked off to some degree, we'll probably still be bringing in energy from Greenland and Iceland, and we probably still have troughs and areas of low pressure dipping southwards with the jet stream. So it's quite a complicated pattern actually. It looks relatively straightforward, but in terms of the detail, this would be quite a complicated pattern. It could be a more unsettled month than you might envisage just by looking at the 700 millibar height anomaly. Quite a cool month being forecast for Western Europe this September, cooler than average September for much of England and Wales down to France, Low Countries, western parts of Germany, and then down into Southern Europe. It's cooler than average there. The hottest conditions, warmest conditions look like there in the east of Europe, although this southeast corner does look a little bit cold. The reason it's going for below average temperatures, of course, now we've got this ridge sitting out here. We've got high pressure there and we've got low pressure somewhere around there, and of course that leaves us on the cool side of the jet stream with the dip in the jet in the 500 millibar flow. So quite a cool September being forecast by CFS, and you see how difficult precipitation is with this pattern. So it is significantly drier than average just to our west and southwest. That's because we've got the ridge there to our west and to our southwest, but we've got this low pressure up to the northeast. Jet stream is coming through like that. So on the face of it, it looks like northern areas have quite an unsettled month, above average precipitation for Scotland and Northern Ireland, possibly to drive an average again down in the south. So a bit of a north-south split type month being suggested there, but I think actually it could be a little bit more unsettled than that is suggesting. CFSV2, this is Beijing Climate Centre. This is how the Beijing Climate Centre is 500 millibar height anomaly is looking for the next 30 days. Takes us from the 6th of September to 5th of October. Very similar actually to what the CFS is showing. So again, we've got this ridge in the middle of the Atlantic. There's a mid-Atlantic ridge with high pressure, with low pressure I should say, to over and to our east and northeast. So again, with the jet stream, we've kind of like got a dip in the jet within the 500 millibar flow. We're doing something a bit like that with low pressure over the UK and high pressure in the middle of the Atlantic. Very similar to what the CFS 700 millibar height anomaly is showing. Temperature anomalies for September are close to average, actually a little bit warmer than average, surprisingly, for the north, a little bit cooler than average for the south. Not a big deviation, close to average with the temperatures to possibly hinting at being a bit cooler than average, I think, there. And unsettled, it's more unsettled than what the CFS is showing, with all parts of the UK and Ireland coming out with above average precipitation. Most parts of Central Europe also coming out with above average precipitation. So it's a very complicated month, this, to pin down in detail. I think we're likely to see temperatures probably on the cool side, actually. No better, I wouldn't have thought, than average. May even come out a little bit cooler than average, although I'm not sure it'll go quite that far, but certainly average for temperatures, I think, or no real deviation, so within half a degree either side of the average, which is basically an average deviation. And as far as rainfall is concerned, it could be a little bit more unsettled than the CFS is showing, I think, this month. So I would suggest maybe a little bit above average with rainfall and near normal temperatures, getting us off to a rather autumnal start to the autumn. I do think as the month progresses, the chance of building in high pressure could increase again. It's been a recurring pattern, I think, since around April or maybe May, but the final week of the month has tended to have a warm, dry spell, so we might do that again in the final week or so of September. Very dependent, of course, this month on what's going on in the tropical Atlantic and what sort of track the storms and hurricanes and ex-hurricanes are taking in the tropical Atlantic. So whether we can pull off another final week of a month with high pressure and warmer conditions remains to be seen. But I think overall probably quite close to average with temperatures. Wouldn't entirely rule out a cooler than average month, but let's say close to average and maybe a little bit above average for precipitation. Driest, warmest spell of the month. Probably occurring in the last week. Finally, just having a look at October. So this is how October's 700 millibar height anomaly is looking. Not a lot to work on. There's some above average heights across Scandinavia and back into western parts of Russia, with below average heights just down to our southwest. It's a complicated pattern, again, that just suggests that Jackson could be on a little bit of a southerly track. With his high pressure to our east, that will be trying to bring easterly winds across Europe. But for us, actually, we still look a little bit on the unsettled side there. I think we'll worry about October when we get to it. September looks like it's going to be complicated enough. So the Gauss Weather September 2019 forecast is going for near normal temperatures, but not ruling out the chance of being a bit cooler than average. But I think really we're going to be on somewhere within half a degree either side of average, so no particular deviation with temperatures compared to the 81 to 1990 temperature average for September, and maybe a little bit above average for precipitation, particularly so I would have thought up in the north. Driest conditions likely with this pattern to be in the west to the southwest. But all places could have a rather changeable month actually, and just generally quite an autumnal feeling September. So again, it's one of those years that we've had quite a lot of over the past few years, where September is a little bit more on the autumnal side than perhaps it was around 10-15 years ago. Right, we're back later on with the ECM 30-day look at. Of course, we'll see whether the ECM is agreeing with this, with its temperature and precipitation anomalies. Let's hope it doesn't do anything too surprising. And we'll be back again later on this afternoon with the regular week's 10-day video update on the homepage. That's all for now, though, and thanks for watching.